Hello! I'm back with another video, and this video is being uploaded on Veterans Day. So, before we get into the nitty-gritty of this special report, I guess we have to talk about our vets. To those of you who are veterans, some of you have chosen to basically be our shield for the United States of America and its citizens and our interests at home and abroad. We appreciate your sacrifices and everything that you guys do. Some of you have even had to make the ultimate sacrifice of giving your life, or in some cases your health and well-being. So we salute you. Okay then, now that we got that out of the way, it's time to talk about what this BS Busters is all about. This little special report is going to be me debunking several bullshit excuses that third parties like to say when they say they don't support Nintendo consoles. Or should I say, Nintendo consoles and handhelds at this point. So without further ado, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. So one of the first little myths we see is the one in the as the title placard might say is, well, this architecture is too difficult for us to use. It's PowerPC. That's funny because the hilarious thing about that statement is that a lot of these same companies, publishers that are saying, well, and developers, well, it uses PowerPC architecture. That's hilarious because a lot of these same companies, slash developers, slash publishing houses, had no problem putting games on the Xbox 360, and in some cases, the definitive versions of quite a few of their more storied and critically received and even sales-wise games on the system. And the Xbox 360 used PowerPC architecture. So, what changed? I mean, we're only talking one generation removed. It's not like I'm saying, well, you had no problem putting games on the SNES or the Sega Genesis or the Dreamcast. I mean, we're talking just less than 3-4 years ago. So, really? Really? Everything changed that much in just 3 or 4 years? That sounds like bullshit to me. That sounds like a big heaping helping of bullshit. So, that's the first myth number 1. We'll move on to number 2 after the cut. The second myth is, as the title placard says, is, well, the sales just aren't there. We can't, our games don't sell on that system. That's funny because a lot of these companies have titles that have historically sold very well on Nintendo systems. They made decent profits. They were cheap to put on their system, and they sold well enough for them to turn a healthy profit. So that seems a little suspect to me. You look at a company like Ubisoft. I mean, one of their major moneymakers is Just Dance. And Just Dance has historically sold very well on Nintendo platforms. Now, not the current Nintendo platform because, I mean, let's be frank, Wii U is less of a casual console. But the Wii, hell, a lot of that money that they used that they made, which basically they then funneled into their Assassin's Creeds and all that other bullshit they made off of shit that sold on the Wii. So, I mean, I don't know. That seems a bit suspect to me. EA had a lot of little shovelware titles that came out on the Wii, sold relatively well, that they then funneled to make their shitty little you know, money makers that they put on other things. Same thing with Activision and those other third-party developers. So I find it a bit suspect that, you know, all things being equal, ceteris paribus, that now it's a problem. I don't get that. I don't get that. But you know, what do I know? I'm just a consumer. I'm just, you know, forget the fact that I also have a brain and can put two and two together. But whatever. I think myth number 2 has just been busted. The third myth is one that's near and dear to my heart, which is, well, you know, the mobile market is booming right now, and there's so much money. So we don't need to support a dedicated handheld. We just put shit on mobile. Here's something that you might not know. A lot of the top mobile smartphone, you know, those companies that make apps and all that type of shit, a lot of them are trying to get out of mobile gaming. If something is making you all that much money, wouldn't you stay in it for a long period of time? Wouldn't you try to make as much money as you could? Why are you trying to jump ship if it's so profitable? I mean, shit, look at Zynga. I mean, look at the Angry Birds people. I mean, for every big success, there's hundreds of flops in the app market, in the smartphone gaming market. So, I mean, seriously, it's not very stable. It's basically the wild, wild west out there. And people need to keep that in mind when they say, oh, well, we can make money here. Yeah, you're making money. Right now. You know, microtransactions, DLC, whatever, but I mean, it's like a table with 3 legs, but one of them is shorter than the other 2. That table is about to fall anytime. Just, it's not stable. So stability is a big thing in business. If you don't have a stable business model, you could be fucked long term. But what do I know? I just own a business. Myth number 4 after the cut. The fourth myth is one that's near and dear to my heart, as I was about to say, which is the old, well, gaming is, you know, gaming has never been cheaper. That is not necessarily entirely a myth. Partially it's true, but the numbers don't really tell the entire truth. Gaming to the consumer has never been cheaper. You can game on a smartphone, you can game on a dedicated handheld, you can game on a console, you can game on a PC. And it's never been cheaper for a consumer. But because consumers have constantly begged for better graphics, which means newer tech, which means more expensive development cycles, which means you need more people in order to develop this shit. Development for the publishers and the developers has never been more expensive. I mean, think about it like this, okay? A game like Donkey Kong Country for the SNES, which sold 9 million units over its lifetime, made Nintendo $650 million. I mean, a lot of fucking money. And let's say it sold for $60, okay? They sold, I mean, like, I think maybe like a team of, I want to say 8-9, there's like 8-9 people in the core team that made that. Other people came in and helped, but generally speaking, you're talking no more than 15, 16, 17 people made that game. That is amazing. That is friggin' amazing. Um, and yet now, and that game had a budget of $30,000. $30,000. Okay. Now think of a game now. Your Assassin. Let's just say another big, huge third-party game that came out. You know, maybe even Fallout 4. That's a small studio of maybe 60, 70 people made that game. It's still broken. It's still buggy and glitchy. But you know, all things being equal, we'll take out the bugs and glitches. 60, 70 people made that game. And it probably had a budget of like, even though they're using basically a refined engine from Skyrim to make it, you're looking at maybe, I wouldn't be surprised, 50, 60, 70 million dollars to make that game. And it's not as big as Skyrim. or Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas. It's amazing. It's amazing. Gaming has gotten more expensive development-wise. To the consumer, they're trying to get the cost low, which is why they have DLC and microtransactions. But gaming, if you look at the supply side of it, it still has gotten very expensive. Gaming, if you look at it from the consumer side of it, well, they're augmenting how much it costs by nickel and diming people with microtransactions and shit like that. So that is false. Gaming is still very expensive. The last myth, as the title placard said, is pretty damn self-explanatory. You want a no-frills console that focuses purely on gameplay, experiences, and graphics. Top-of-the-line gameplay, top-of-the-line graphics. No gimmicks. I hate to break this to you, but you want a PC. Because every single gaming console has a gimmick. From the first gen all the way up to the current gen, which is the 8th gen. Every console has a fucking gimmick. All of them. All of them. The original first gen consoles, it was Pong. It was all different variations of Pong. That was the gimmick. Gen 2, it was, oh, we can do something more than Pong, and we have paddle controllers. For the third gen, it was the D-pad and games that had more depth than what you had during the second and first gen. During the fourth gen, it was, with the Sega Genesis, it was fucking blast processing. With the N64, it was Nintendo Power and the sound chip and the D-pad and the R and L buttons and the diamond pattern, which has become standardized on every fucking console now. Those were gimmicks. The 5th gen, it was CDs. It was multi-purpose console with the PlayStation, because it was a console that also played CDs. With the N64, it was 64-bit graphics and rumble. With the Saturn, it was, well, I don't know what the fuck that gimmick was with that. I think it was the expansion port, CDs, and some other shit. FMV. It was Saturn was FMV. Oh, shit, fucking FMV. 6th gen, it was power, built-in rumble, and Sony once again coming in saying, well, it plays DVDs. That was a gimmick. You had a video game console that also played DVDs. It's a gimmick. And people bought a lot of them because it played DVDs. The Xbox, the original Xbox, you could fucking Xbox Live, gimmick. The fact that you could rip music from your favorite CDs and play it like, as a background while you were playing your games, like over the actual audio of the game, gimmick. I mean, the 7th gen, Wiimote, Wii Motion, Mii's, gimmicks. avatars, gimmicks, Xbox Live, Xbox Gold, Xbox Silver, gimmicks, PSN, PlayStation Move, Connect, gimmicks. And now we're in the 8th gen, and I mean, shit. The little trackpad on the little touchpad on the PS4, gimmick. It also plays Blu-rays, gimmicks. Xbox 360, Connect 2.0, motion controls. You can talk to it. It turns on. Gimmicks. The Wii U gamepad, gimmick. Backwards compatibility, gimmick. Every console in existence has had a gimmick. If you basically want to play a platform that doesn't have any gimmicks and is just pure power and gameplay capability, you need to get a PC, because that's the only one, and you will appropriately, it will be appropriate for you to spend however much you want on it. You're going to spend $1,500 on the shit. Fucking moron. That's the end of this BS Busters special report. I saved the best for last. So, without further ado, good day.